We have her back again. She's the First Lady of the great state of New Jersey, Tammy Murphy. Good to see you, Tammy.
Good to see you too, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I hate to start on this topic, but we're taping this program at the end of May 2020. We will talk about Nurture NJ, your initiative. We'll talk about the trip to Ireland, a lot of things. Gun violence, gun safety, given the horrific events in Texas. And I hope and pray to God when this is shown in a repeated version that there's not a, well, go ahead, Tammy.
You don't even have to finish that sentence. I think we all know where you're going. There's not another one. So listen, we must get federal regulation on gun safety measures. It's something that 90%, more than 90% of our country would like to see universal background checks. And the fact that the gun lobby has so many people in their pockets, it's disgusting. You know, people are trying to say that it's political. This is not political. This is when you're seeing innocent children being brutalized, murdered, and it's just terrible. And we cannot have this recur over and over and over again. I'm honestly really grateful that yesterday, Phil, my husband, called out a lot of these legislators and said
by name, which is not his nature.
No, that's not his nature, but we're so frustrated. We can't go anywhere in the United States right now and feel safe. In all honesty, you can't go buy groceries as we saw in Buffalo. You can't go to the movie theater.
How about church? How about church?
You can't go to church. You can't go anywhere. And you know, the more proliferation of munitions that we have out in the population, obviously, the more challenges we're going to have. And you know, I think that we really do need all of us to look inwardly and say to ourselves, where do we stand on this topic and who is going to represent our voice? I think it's really smart to have an open vote so every person can see exactly who is voting how, and every person can say, that's either important to me or it's not important to me, but at least I know where they stand.
And that's even getting to a vote. First Lady Tammy Murphy, let me ask you, where are we with Nurture? Tell everyone what Nurture. If you want to see previous interviews we've done with the First Lady, check out steveadubato.org. What is it and where are we right now?
Okay, so Nurture NJ is our statewide awareness campaign. It is the platform that we are using to correct the maternal and infant mortality rates that are so terrible here in New Jersey. In all honesty, we have horrific maternal mortality rates in the United States. We are 55th in the world for maternal mortality rates. And here in New Jersey, sadly, we are 47th out of 50th. And when you drill down and understand exactly what's going on, you can see that sadly, it's our Black moms and babies who are mostly impacted. This is all about racism. It's been institutionalized, and it is it's something that we must change. I've been working on this, as you know, for the entirety of Phil's first administration, and we are making progress. Very excited about that. You know, he's signed more than 40 pieces of legislation to tackle some of the systemic challenges we have. He has put money into the budget this year. He's put another $37 million into the budget to tackle some of the opportunities that we have here in New Jersey. And you know, we separately are meeting all the time with stakeholders across the state to advance our strategic plan, which we unveiled over a year ago. To date, we have either finished or at least started over half of the 70 actionable recommendations in that plan. I believe that plan is the blueprint for not only our state, but could be for the United States.
You and the governor and a group of other leaders in the state from the private sector, government sector, not-for-profit sector, education sector, went to Ireland recently. What was that trip and why does it matter?
So it was an economic mission, and it was a way to strengthen the ties that we have with Irish companies, Irish institutions of higher learning. In my capacity, part of that also had to do with advancing Nurture NJ, because Ireland has the first infant and maternal health center around the world. And it's fantastic because we signed a memorandum of understanding with that center.
Excuse me, is that sorry for interrupting, is that the Irish Center for Maternal and Child Health Research?
That is, they call it infant, but yes, that's what that is exactly.
And that was done in cooperation with the Economic Development Authority in the state?
Exactly, exactly. So it's very exciting because we are going to share best practices. It's essentially information sharing and trying to share clinical studies and more. And the irony is, in Ireland, their maternal mortality rate is 5 deaths per 100,000 live births. The United States, our maternal mortality rate is 19 per 100,000 births. So the fact that they already have this up and running is unbelievable, and I'm very excited, and they're very excited about working with us.
Let me bring you back in the time we have the discussion about Nurture NJ, babies, mothers, particularly Black and brown babies and mothers disproportionately impacted. This baby formula situation, and again, we're taping at the end of May, be seen later. Who knows where we're going to be with that? That's clearly, that horrific situation, which I can't even comprehend how that happens, is directly tied to your mission, is it not?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, we are trying to make New Jersey the safest and most equitable state in the country to deliver and raise a baby. If you can't even feed your baby, that's obviously a challenge, Steve. So the answer is it's absolutely part of our mission. Phil has been working directly with Department of Health, with our office, and we have done a number of things that are hopefully moving the needle here. He signed an executive order to ensure there's no price gouging that's going on. And we've created a website that will enable people to be able to understand what they can do, how to substitute, where to find, resources. So we're doing everything we can, but again, this is another case of it's really at the federal level. You've got to make sure that the FDA is keeping tabs on this and moving forward, which they seem to be now doing.
We have a minute left. Make sure we put the Nurture NJ website up as the First Lady speaking. Before I let you go, one of my favorite interviews of all time, and look on at steveadubato.org, Eric Legrand, an extraordinary young man.
Yeah.
Rutgers connection, horrific accident 10 or so years ago, playing against for football for Rutgers against Army, paralyzed leader, a great person, but now an entrepreneur in New Brunswick. You went to the opening of Eric's coffee empire. We have some video we're going to show. Talk about it real quick. Because you said coffee was great. Sorry for turning your public television.
No, it's great.
I don't want to turn it into a commercial for Eric Legrand, but we love him. Go ahead.
First of all, I told him I was speaking to you and he said to say hi. So that's one thing. Secondly, Eric, it's called the Legrand Coffee House and it's in Woodbridge. I love the fact that Eric is such a giving person, as you know, and he's so thoughtful. He had never tasted coffee himself, I heard, until 2020. And now he's got an entire coffee shop that is a convening place for people in the community to support one another. He wanted to make it more than kind of just some of the generic brands. He wanted to make it something special, and it really is special. It's worth seeing. I will also tell you that we have some exciting news because Eric recently came to the governor's mansion, Drumthwacket, and when we unveiled the ADA accessible elevator and bathroom that we have just finished installing. So he was kind of he was our first case, and he got to ride in the elevator. But we agreed, and I know it's now underway, that the Legrand Coffee will now be the coffee that we serve at Drumthwacket. So that's really exciting. Eric and our team are in cahoots right now trying to figure out how and when we roll that out, but it'll be soon.
We love Eric Legrand, and
Yes.
We're going to have him back to talk about that and a bunch of other things. First Lady Tammy Murphy, cannot thank you enough for joining us. Best to you and your family, best to the governor.
Thank you so much, Steve, and same right back to you.
You got it. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, PNC, Grow Up Great, Choose New Jersey, Kane University, New Jersey Sharing Network, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Fedway Associates, Inc., and by the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ and by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network.
New Jersey's early educators and childcare providers are more than twice as likely to live below the poverty line versus the general workforce. Reimagine Childcare, formed by a coalition in New Jersey, is dedicated to improving accessibility, affordability, and quality of childcare, and reimagining the way we support these essential providers. Learn more by visiting reimaginechildcare.org.